G'day mate, welcome back to the channel. I'm FPL Root and welcome back to another FPL video. So the international break is basically over. We're looking forward to game week 4 and here I'm building my latest wildcard draft. So if you are on your wildcard, this is probably going to be the best team that you can build. I'll also be going through each position, looking at in-depth at other players that potentially we could be bringing in instead. Also, I'll be rating this team through AI and I'll also be giving you the perfect AI wildcard draft. So before we do get onto the whole team, please make sure you do like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. So with Bruggen, I've gone in goal. So a little bit different to my wild card earlier on last week. I did go for Henderson, but I feel like Verbruggen is the best goalkeeper to go for. He's 1.1% owned, so a massive differential, 4.5 million. Obviously, he missed the first couple games for Brighton with an injury, but he did play the last game. No clean sheets as of yet, though, which is probably a little bit disappointing. But Brighton, I think they've got very, very good fixtures coming up. So I really did want to have a defensive cover from one of their players, whether that's goalkeeper or defender. The fixtures, as I mentioned, are very, very good. Ipswich at home, Forest at home, so two of the probably best fixtures you can probably ask for. Chelsea away, Spurs at home, Newcastle away is tough, but Brighton look very, very good this season. They don't look solid. Okay, I understand that. They don't look solid. They are conceding goals. But for me, they've shown enough to warrant that they're going to do very well this season. They did concede one to, obviously, Arsenal at the Emirates, which is fair enough. They conceded one to Man United as well. And then in the first game, they did keep a clean sheet against Everton. So not the easiest games to keep clean sheets against, but they did keep one out of the three. And then they only conceded one in each of the other two games. So I do really like Brighton defensive cover. I did have Dunk originally in this team, but I decided to go for a Bruggen because I feel like I trust him to be in the net and to play him in pretty much any game rather than someone like Henderson who, if he does have a tough game, I can't really see that many clean sheets from him. Whereas Verbruggen, you probably fancy them to beat almost, I guess, any team other than the Arsenal, City, Liverpool, I'd say, the way this season's going anyway. So Verbruggen's in the net. Defence, originally I did have Van Dijk, so I did want a Liverpool cover, but I decided to go for Trent in this draft because of the way you see the rest of the team is. I did have that spare money to go for Trent. 30% owned now, and he's 7 million. Again, the fixtures, which is why I've got Trent in this team. Forest at home, Bournemouth at home, so two brilliant home games. Wolves away, Palace away, and then they've got Chelsea at home, Arsenal away, so it does get a little bit tougher for them from game week 8 to 10. But them next two fixtures are incredible for Liverpool. They started the season so well, 3 clean sheets. Trent has looked good. No attacking returns as of yet, but has looked good. 6.67 points per game, which is pretty good for me. Assists none, goals none, but expected assists doesn't look good either. But in terms of his play, his eye test, he does look good. He doesn't look, I say, as threatening as he did under Klopp, but we know Trent can come up with a set-piece goal, whether that's a free kick banger or from a corner in assisting another player. So I decided to go for Trent because you're playing your wild card. I feel like a lot of people might not have the opportunity to go for Trent, and that does give you a slight advantage. Next up, I got Lewis here. So Rico Lewis, I didn't have him in the original draft. I was turning. I didn't know whether to put him in or not. But 4.7 million, 8.7% owned. I feel like it's worth the risk. 1 clean sheet so far this season, which again is not the best, but he did get 1 assist as well. He's been playing right back over Kyle Walker. Even when Kyle Walker did come on in their last game, he ended up staying on the pitch and Gavardio came off. The fixtures for City are not the best. Granted, they're not the best, but from game week 7 onwards, they do look very, very tasty. So Brighton at home, Brentford at home, Arsenal at home, Newcastle away is not the easiest. But then they've got Fulham at home, Wolves away, Southampton at home, Bournemouth away. So some really, really nice fixtures there for Rico Lewis. And for me, I think it is worth it. The expected points look okay. They don't look great, but at 4.7 million, for me, it's worth the risk, especially with the attacking threat as well. Next up is Robinson. So Anthony Robinson, the Fulham fullback. For me, he started the season very, very well. No clean sheets, but 2 assists, which shows how attacking he actually is. 16% owned and 4.6 million now. The fixtures for Fulham still look very, very good. West Ham at home, Newcastle at home, so 2 home games. Forest away, and then they've got City away, Villa at home, Everton away, which is a little bit trickier. But I think the way Fulham have started the season, I really do want some of their players in my team, and I think Anthony Robinson is the player to go for. His assist potential. Fulham were good defensively last season. Leno was one of the highest scoring goalkeepers. So, yeah, for me, I think the clean sheets will come, but never mind. Robinson, attacking wise, does look very, very good as well. On the bench for the defence, we've got Konza and Greaves. So Konza is 13% owned, 4.5 million. Bit of a boring pick, but I did want coverage of the Aston Villa, I guess, defence over this period. They've got Everton at home, which obviously I'm not playing him for. Probably could play him for, and he is expected to score more points than some of my other defenders. For example, he's expected to score more points than Robinson and Lewis, to be fair. But for me, I'd just rather play this slightly attacking defender, whereas Konza is not really that attacking. Like I said, he's 13% owned, 4.5 million. Everton at home, Wolves at home, Ipswich away, Man United at home, Fulham away, Bournemouth at home. So some really nice fixtures coming up for Villa. They haven't shown anything defensively so far this season, but they've had some tough fixtures, to be fair to them. Konza, again, looks pretty much nailed in that team. And for me, he's just a security to have on the bench, just in case one of the attacking, I guess, 3 that are starting don't have a good fixture. Also got Greaves for Ipswich, so 4 million, 1.4% owned. To be honest, I'm hoping I'll never have to play him. That's what you want with your kind of 5th defender, that you never have to play him. He started all 3 games for them. Yeah, not really too much to say other than that. Let me know what you think of my goalkeeper and defence, and then we'll get onto the midfield. So now onto the midfield, and there's nowhere better to start but for Mo Salah. He's got to be in the team. Don't even think about it. Just put him in your team. 42% owned now, 12.7 million. And yeah, he started the season brilliantly. 3 goals, 3 assists. Absolutely smashed it. And with the fixtures coming up for Liverpool, I think Mo Salah is a must-own and a potential captaincy option for game week 5. So Forest at home, Bournemouth at home, Wolves away, Palace away, Chelsea at home. Brilliant fixtures, and considering his start to the season, yeah, for me, he is a must-own. His stats look very, very good as well. So overall this season, 0.58 expected goals per 90, 0.35 expected assists per 90. So that's expected goal involvements of near enough 1 per 90, which is what you really want. You'd like more, but that's what you really want. If they can get a goal involvement every game, then that's 38 goal involvements, and that's a pretty good return. The points for so far for Salah is the key thing for me. So 14, 10 and 17. Haaland scored more goals than him, but because of the assist, because of the clean sheet points, because of the extra point for a goal, Mo Salah is on the same points as Haaland. And for me, that is crucial to having Salah in this team. Midfielders that score well have to be in your team, and with them fixtures coming up, Mo Salah is essential. Don't even think twice about it. Next up, we've got Eze. So this was a tough one, but I think the fixtures warrant having him in the team. He is 6.9 million now, because obviously he did drop right before game week 3, which was quite laughable actually, considering he did get a 10-pointer in that game week. 24% owned, so still pretty highly owned. The fixtures are Leicester at home, Man United at home, and Everton away up next. So some really, really nice fixtures for Eze. But to be honest, I think Eze is fixture proof. I know I say that a lot about a lot of players, but I think out of I'd say the big 6, if you want to call it the big 6, Eze is definitely one of the most fixture-proof players. We've seen him get returns in the past against Man United, against Chelsea, obviously last game week, against City. We've seen him do it, and for me, yeah, Eze straight in my team. He's on pens, set pieces. Palace haven't won this season, so that's a little bit worrying, but I think with this running, they're going to want to pick up a few wins, and I think Eze is going to be a crucial part of that. Next up, we've got Luis Diaz. So this was a position that I was a little bit open with, because I'm not the biggest fan of Luis Diaz, to be honest with you. I think in the past, and especially last season, he was very, very wasteful. I feel like he got into the right opportunities, created a lot of I guess, havoc on the wing, but it wasn't really clinical. But this season so far, he's absolutely smashed it, to be fair to him. 3 goals, 1 assist. He's done very, very well. And to be honest, he's been taken off after 20 minutes in game week, well, with 20 minutes to go in game week 2, and with 35 minutes to go in game week, 25 minutes to go in game week 3. So he's not playing 90 minutes, which is, again, another worry. But I think if you're going to be playing the wild card, I think having double Liverpool attack in terms of midfielders is the way to go. I think it's the aggressive way to play, and it's the way to do it. 16% owned, 7.6 million, so still very low owned considering the fixtures are very, very nice. Like I said, I won't go over it too much, but Forest at home and Bournemouth at home is the key fixtures for me. Go with there. Maybe you can move to Mbermo after that. Bring him in for the fixtures. Yeah, I really do like Luis Diaz as a 2 kind of game week punt, and then look to bring in maybe someone like Mbermo, even one of the Arsenal mids or someone like that. So for now, yeah, I do like Luis Diaz. Next up is a player that I haven't had in my last draft, and I think a lot of people are sleeping on. I've gone for Minte. So the Brighton midfielder has, to be honest, has set the league alight. He did very well last season when he did he play last season? No, he wasn't. In terms of his club, though, he played very, very well. I think he was on loan from Newcastle to Betis, I think it was. And he done very well, which is why Brighton did end up buying him. They ended up paying, I think, 30 million for him, and he never played a game for Newcastle. It was actually final. They got 10 goals there, so yeah, pretty good return. He is still very young as well. 5.5 million, around 2% owned, so massive, massive differential, and that's why I've got him in the team. I think by playing the wild card now and not wait until game week 6, you have to pick the players that have good fixtures now. Yes, you can plan for the future, but people in that wildcard in game week 6 are going to be doing that anyway. So for me, you have to pick the players that are going to have great fixtures from game weeks 4 to 6, and Brighton have that. Ipswich at home, Forest at home. You can't want any more than that. He hasn't scored this season though, 2 assists though, so it's not the best return. But for me, having this punt, 5.5 million, I think it's the way to go, to be honest with you. Just play the fixtures. You have to, if you are wildcard in this game week, you have to play the fixtures from 4 to 6, because people that are wildcarding in 6 are going to have the best team possible from 6 onwards. So this is your advantage, is to bring in as many Brighton and as many Liverpool players as possible without obviously ruining your whole setup for the future. But for me, if you can do that, bring in 3 of each if you can, and then potentially roll your transfers up until game week 6, and then maybe do a 4 or 5 transfers move, or even 3-4 transfers move for a -4, -8. Let me know what you think of the midfield. Before we do get on to the forwards though, we'll talk about the bench player. So originally in my draft I had Mbermo as the bench player, and I had Rodgers, but I think I don't really love bringing in players in preparation for good fixtures. I'd rather bring them in when the good fixtures started or about to start. For me, I don't love that. There could be an injury and you could have Mbermo sitting on your bench for 2 game weeks. So for me, I've got Semenyo, which kind of meets the same sort of thing. His fixtures don't start until game week 6, but I don't mind playing him if I have to. And we're at 5.5 million. It's not a big deal. I would have had Rodgers on my bench anyway, who's 5 million. For me, it's not a big deal. He's now 5.6 million, so at 5% owned, so still a massive differential. Like I said though, if you can play him, you can play him in game week 4. It's not a big deal at all. Chelsea at home, Liverpool away, okay, a bit tougher, but then they've got Southampton and Leicester away, so some really nice fixtures there. The key thing with this, and the reason why I've gone Semenyo for now, is I really did want a rotation between Minte, Semenyo, and one of my forwards who I'll talk about obviously in the next part of this video. I think they rotate really, really well. And for me, I did want that person that I could play in game weeks 6 and 7 who have good fixtures, and then bench some other players. So that's why I've gone for Semenyo. Yeah, I think he's in brilliant form this season as well. 2 goals, 1 assist. He started the season so well. Potentially he could be on penalties. We don't know yet. Obviously, Solanke has left, but potentially Semenyo could be on penalties. He's almost playing as a striker, but he's classified as a midfielder. For me, he's going to do very well this season, and he has done so far. Let me know what you think of the midfield, and we'll get on to the forwards. So before we do get on to the forwards, I just wanted to shout out to Fantasy Football Hub. So as you can see, this screenshot on my screen now is from them. So it does allow you to build your team, plan for the future. It gives you projected points, your team ratings. As you can see, my team rating for this wildcard is 92%, 70.8 expected points, and 94% game week rating, which is ridiculous. So good. You can get your team rated by AI as well if you just scan the QR code on the screen or check the link in the description. Definitely check them out. If you do sign up to the membership, they're still doing 50% off, and yeah, it does help out the channel a lot. So yeah, let me know what you think and what your team rating is in the comment section below, and we'll get on to the forwards. So Erling Haaland, to be honest, if people start talking about not having Haaland, I just basically lose all respect for them. I just think, okay, it's a lot of money. 15.2 million is ridiculous, but the guy scored 7 goals in 3 games, 66.5% owned. For me, it's ridiculous. Why would you not have someone like that in? Goals means points. For me, it's just, I don't understand it at all. If you're a non-Haaland owner, let me know in the comments. Give me your reasoning, because I just don't understand it, to be honest with you. Brentford at home up next, which is very, very good and going to be a captaincy option. But then he's got Arsenal at home, Newcastle away. So I do kind of understand why people potentially are not going for Haaland on the wild card because of the fixtures coming up. But after that, they've got Fulham at home, Wolves away, Southampton at home, Bournemouth away. Ridiculous. And we know he's going to score a hat-trick probably against Brentford. We know he can do damage against Newcastle. Arsenal is a little bit tougher, but it is at home. So for me, Haaland, just put him in your team and captain him. Next up, we've got João Pedro, which completes the triple up on the Brighton players. 28% owned now, 5.7 million. Ipswich at home, Forest at home. That's why you're bringing him in. That's why you're tripling up on Brighton. Ridiculous fixtures. João Pedro's in very good form as well. 2 goals so far this season. He looks very, very good. He's on pens. Yeah, for me, I think the triple up on Brighton is the way to go if you are wildcarding. If you disagree, again, let me know in the comments. Also now with Palmer's injury news, so it's not confirmed he's going to be out, but it does look like he potentially could miss a game or 2. Jackson, I think, is crucial to having in your wildcard team. I think he is probably the only, now Palmer's potentially injured, the only nailed Chelsea starting forward midfielder. 7.6 million, I think, is a very good price. 2 goals, 1 assist so far this season, and he's only 6% owned, so massive differential. Bournemouth away, West Ham away. Not ideal, bringing him in ahead of 2 away games. But then they've got 2 home games, Brighton at home, Forest at home. Then they run into a tricky patch where you could potentially move him on. They've got Liverpool away, Newcastle at home, Man United away. But for me, Chelsea look very, very good going forward, to be totally honest with you. They look a bit dangerous going forward. If only they could finish their chances and potentially have a decent defence, I think they could do well this season. But Jackson is going to be in the end of most of them chances, and he's going to put a few away. I'm the biggest, I won't say hater, I just didn't see the hype at the start of last season around Jackson. But now I do understand the price is very good. He's creating loads of chances. He's getting loads of chances. Yeah, for me, I think he's a good player to bring in, to be honest, on your wild card. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and we'll move on to the Ultimate AI wildcard up next. So this is how the Ultimate AI wildcard lines up. So this wildcard draft has been put together by Fantasy Football Hub's AI. If you want to check out all their tools, scan the QR code or check the link in the description. So we've gone for Martinez in goal at 5 million, Robertson at 6 million, and Trent at 7 million. So double up on Liverpool defence, which is an interesting one. I mean, I completely understand. They've obviously kept 3 clean sheets so far this season, so I don't mind that at all. Gavardio as well at 6 million, which is another interesting one, but I've obviously got Rico Lewis in my draft, so I understand the thinking behind that. Gavardio is obviously more nailed than Rico Lewis. Salah and Eze both the same. Saka in this draft, which is, going to Spurs away and City away, the 2 probably hardest games for Arsenal in the calendar. I'm not too sure I agree with that, but Saka does do well against Spurs. You see him get 2 goals last season, so I guess that's the thinking behind it. De Bruyne, again, De Bruyne is always a good option, but with them fixtures, I'm not too sure. Isak, João Pedro, and Chris Wood up front. So they've obviously decided to go for no Haaland and maybe cover that with De Bruyne. To be honest, I'd probably drop the Liverpool defender down and then try and get Haaland in. I just think Haaland's so crucial to have in your in your teams. You can potentially drop De Bruyne if you bring in Haaland. I just think De Bruyne is a great option, yes, but Haaland is the best option in the game, I feel like. I do agree with João Pedro, obviously, and I don't mind Isak as well. Chris Wood has done well this season. He has done well. 2 goals so far, but Forest have had very easy games, and I feel like now is not the time to bring him in ahead of Liverpool away and Brighton away. So interesting choice for the AI. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you prefer my wildcard draft or Fantasy Football Hub's AI? And yeah, scan the QR code, check the link in the description, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and good luck for the game week.